Cheers! Hello heathens, welcome back. Thank you for coming to my channel, and if you haven't been here before, thank you for joining me for the first time. I have been taking stock and assessing my life, yes. I did my mid-year review, and in that one I mentioned that I had looked at my 25 to 425 that I set at the beginning of the year, and I ain't doing so well. It's a solid D minus. So I've only read 7 books, and for those of you that were actually good at maths, you'll know that that's not even halfway. So considering we're halfway through the year, yeah, it's not good. But I have a plan. Hazelnut mocha, by the way, delicious. I have a plan. I am going to be doing a reading vlog. So welcome to the start of a reading vlog. So this is going to be a bit, I suppose, a little bit all over the place. So this is the intro. Obviously, I'm talking about my 2012 for 25. Then I'm going to do a bit of a try of a chapter, and I'm going to tell you the books I've read. So the idea is to read, or attempt to read, if I DNF any of them, 6 books during this vlog, which will take us past halfway. See how I can do math. But I wanted to pick things as well that I actually feel like I'm going to enjoy, because part of the problem, and here is the list in said book, part of the problem was when I reviewed the list, I kind of went, I don't want to read that, I don't want to read that, I don't want to read that, because I'm very much a mood reader, right? And obviously I set this at the beginning of the year when I was in a specific mood. Things change. So current mood status is that I want to read thrillers. I want to read dark things. I want to read dark romance. Basically, I want people falling over left, right, and center. And a lot of these books are very kind of fantasy heavy or romantasy heavy. Now, love that, right? But I think I've been burned a little bit over the past month or so with picking up fantasy books that just didn't hit. And also on this list, and I'll go through the 7 that I did read very briefly, I'll touch on it. I wasn't enamored by them. So out of the ones that I did read, I read Heavenly Bodies, which is the only one that I would say is 5-star. Absolutely loved it. That Romantasy by Mani Eru. Cannot wait for the second book. We'll definitely read it. Oh, Enzo, book boyfriend heaven. But yeah, loved that one. But then I read The Bell Witches, Temptation of Magic, which were both fine. Just nothing to write home about. I read The Blood of Hercules. Wasn't a fan. I DNF'd The Sisters Grimm. Didn't really like that. The only one I did also really like was The Night Swim, which was a thriller by Megan Golden. Loved that. Absolutely loved that. Like podcast elements. I think that's going to go into my summer thriller recommendations as well. So that's sort of more what I'm in the mood for. So this is why I've picked these 6 books. So as I say thriller, let's look at, so I've got a category 3 and 3. These 3. So we've got, first of all, The Beauty of Murder by A.J. Benedict, A.K., sorry, not J. I recently read A.K. Benedict's Little Red Deaths, which is her new release. Loved it. It was a fever dream, weird, didn't know what was happening, but I enjoyed it. So this one is set in Cambridge, not Edinburgh, yeah, Cambridge. And it kind of, again, it sounds a little bit strange. Sort of, you've got an academic setting. You've got bodies that are found dead and then disappear before the police arrives and can see them. It feels like this may span centuries, and they talk about the main character arriving in Cambridge and being cold for centuries. So I don't know if this has a supernatural bent, or it's going to be like Little Red Deaths where you just don't know what the hell's going on, but you're having a good time. I just think this sounds incredible because it says a serial killer with all the time in the world. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then the next thriller book I have is this one here. This is All the Little Liars, and this is by Veronica Selman. I have 2 Veronica Selman books on my shelves, so this one and another one. This is the latest release, I believe. This was one of the really nice, like, numbered and signed ones from Goldsboro Books. And this is, again, going to be perfect, I think, for my kind of summer thriller mood and also the summer thriller video that I'm putting together. So this has dual timelines. We've got California in 2003, where a 13-year-old girl disappears at a lake. Then you've got kind of these teenagers at the lake. There was 3 of them, but only 1 came back, so 1 disappeared. And then they're like, well, did they kill her? What did they do? And then we're kind of going across timelines, kind of figuring out what happened to these girls at the lake. So I've read sort of thrillers with similar premi to this, and I really love that, so I think that'll be great. And then spanning the gap to my next set of books, this is The Dead Girls Club by Damien Angelica Walters. I have had this book, I kid you not, literal years and years and years on my shelves. every time I look at it, I think it sounds so good, and then I don't read it. So this is, again, dual timeline. So you've got the past where, again, you've got a group of friends, girls. One of them is killed, and I believe one of them kills herself. And then you got the timeline of 30 years later, where the third girl is trying to kind of figure out and piece out what happened. So I'm really excited about that. It just sounds like completely the kind of thing that I want to read and that I love and that I'm very much in the mood for. But the bridge to the next set of 3 books is that one of the girls used to talk about, I think it's the Red Lady. Like, Red Lady is coming to get you. So I don't know if there's going to be some supernatural thing in here, or if it's a straight up thriller crime drama. But in terms of, you know, folklore, the Red Lady, possible magic, things coming to get you, Whispers Most Foul. So the next 3 books I have are all fantasy / romantasy books, and they all have to do with witches and magic. So this one, Whispers Most Foul, again, this I've really been dying to read. This is Dunhollow Academy Volume 1, so I'm assuming it's the first book in a series. And it's set at a school for witches and witchcraft. Yes, I know, as a Harry Potter fan, that just gets my heart going. So, but in this school, I believe our protagonist, she kind of arrives at the school and she's new, and it's all weird, and there's monsters, and there's like deadly. So it also sounds a little bit like a Deadly Education, where or sort of Wednesday, right? So where things are happening and you can get killed in the halls of the school, but you know, her classmates are kind of dropping dead, and she is trying to figure out what is going on or what's really going on at the school. So it gave me major Wednesday Addams vibes, which is only a good thing. I cannot wait for season 2. So yeah, this kind of bridges the gap between that sort of murder mystery, but then also the magic. Then I know I've been saying it, I don't know how many The Crimson Moth by Kirsten Cicerelli. If I do not read this book, I have to. That's it. I've committed now to this vlog. I am reading this book, at the very least I'm starting it. I'm hoping I'm going to love it. This is a romantasy. A witch falls in love with a witch finder. So again, had that sort of slight crime-ish element to it, but apparently the magic system's cool. It's all to do with blood. The romance is good. Enemies to lovers type of thing. Everybody's loving it. Everybody's loving the second book, which literally just came out, and I have not bought. Thank you very much. I'm first going to read this one. If I do like it, I will read the second book, but fingers crossed for this one. And then the final one is Where the Dark Stands Still. This is one that, again, I have just been dying to read. It sounds so very good. And literally just the back, it says, once upon a time in a forest of tangled secrets, a wild girl and a broken boy fell in love. That is all I wanted to know. But the premise here is that I think you've got our main character, Priska, I think is her name. She is in the small village, and she's kind of been told all her life that magic is forbidden, but she has magic. And then I believe she makes a deal. She goes out into the forest and makes a deal with like a demon. And she stays with him for like a year, and he helps her control her magic. I mean, that back blurb was all I really wanted to know. But so again, this is really kind of bridging that magic gap, but also taking me way back into fantasy and romantasy. So I'm hoping, see, method to my madness, right? So like I said, I'll be doing some try chapter, and then I'll be picking one from each category and carrying on reading those first. I'll come back, give you some updates, and we'll come back, and then obviously I'll talk about how I did. And then we may also be swapping some out for my 25 for 25 if I really am not feeling it, but I'll come back. So let me know if you've read any of those. No spoilers, but tell me if you like them. I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Okay, so I have tried a chapter of the 3 thrillers. The first one I tried was The Beauty of Murder by A.K. Benedict. This one, it was interesting. We've just kind of discovered this dead body of this beauty queen by someone called the Professor, and they're apparently a new professor at Cambridge University. This is like going to be their first lecture. So you've kind of got that. Then you've also got a sort of a prologue chapter called The Magician, about the beauty queen lying dead on the carpet. It was interesting. The language is quite different and a little bit flowery. So I don't know if I'm quite in the mood for this right now. So I think I'm going to shelve it right now. Although it did intrigue me. And then I tried these 2. And both of these gripped me. So these are both dual timelines about girls that have died, and in this case gone missing. And I was like, I obviously can't read both of these at the same time, because I think that would be confusing, because they're similar in vibe. And I've decided to go with this one, because this literally, I did actually do 2 chapters. Like, it goes before, after, before, after. And you got, this one is also in first person POV, which I really like. So you've actually got this starts off with the sister of the girl that went missing. And again, this is like, she's now 30 and her sister was 13 at the time she went missing, and she's kind of recounting the story, and somebody has just contacted her and called her by her old name, and that's kind of where we've ended it. So I think we're going to kind of jump between the two timelines and find out what happened, and this has really kind of gripped me. So this is the thriller that I'm going with. I'm going to start the fantasy books now and I'll come back. But side note, speaking of thrillers, I am just reading this and I'm like almost done with this. I'm like that far into the book. I'm just into part 4. But has anyone read this? I will talk about this more, but this is the Ronald Malfi book, Senseless. This is the first Ronald Malfi book I've read. This was kind of billed as like a thriller horror. I'm having a whale of a time. This is wild. I'm loving it. I'm going to talk about this a bit more, but let me know if you are reading it, if you're planning on reading it. Let me know what you thought if you have read it, because I'm really enjoying this. And this is one of the most beautiful covers. Yes, it was a cover by. I'll come back with the fantasy books. Okay, this is tough. I have done a chapter of all of these, and I like all of these. I'm really struggling. I kind of want to read them all at once, but again, I think it's going to be too much. So this one just starts really well. Actually, this one, weirdly, I should have probably read this in like at the end of last year, because this is straight after the summer holidays. All the kids are coming back to the Witchcraft Academy, so it's actually autumn, but it's like after the summer holidays, so I still want to read it. It sounds really, really good. There's this girl in the library and there's like a missing poster, and then it's like she sees a spectre in front of her and she sees this girl. It's very eerie, very creepy. I'm loving the vibes in this already. Then this one as well, Where the Dark Stands Still. This actually starts off at summer solstice, so midsummer solstice. So this is perfect for the season. I think I'm going to read this one second, because I feel like I just need to get on with the Crimson Moth, right? And again, started this, it sounds really, really good. I mean, I loved kind of the first sentence, it gripped me, but I also really love that dedication in the front, and it says, for those afraid to be who they are. I love that. That's so, yeah. Me in a nutshell, love that. So I am going to start this because, like I said, I've been banging on about it. But also in terms of dedications, was it this one? I love when they put like these quotes, and this one is similarly, for everyone who's ever worried that they are too much or not enough, all you need to be is yourself. I love that. But yes, so the first 2 books I'm going to read in this vlog are All the Little Liars by Victoria Selman and The Crimson Moth by Kirsten Cicerelli, and I will come back to you when I have some thoughts. Okay, All the Little Liars by Victoria Selman. Let's talk about it. I have just finished reading this book. I kind of binge read this because I was really into the story. This is really good. I haven't really heard many people talking about it. I had a look and it was published in 2023, so that's maybe why. But it is a really great kind of domestic crime thriller drama. So there is a twist, and I was reading this last night and I was quite tired. This was just before I was about to fall asleep. And I was like, what? Like, I thought I'd missed something, or like I had been misreading the whole time. So there is a point in the story where something like happens and you're like, wait, what? Which I really loved. I did kind of figure out who the whodunit at the end. And also, I will say the very end did let me down a little bit. I was expecting a bit more. So the story here is you've got these 3 girls who have made friends. And the story is told from the perspective of one of these girls, Izzy's sister. So Finn, who is Izzy's sister, her little sister, she's 10 at the start of the story. Her sister Izzy is a bit of an outcast. She's not good at making friends. And then she makes these 2 friends, Lou and Plum. But Finn knows that there's something off about these girls. Something is not quite right. And she kind of gets a sense that there might be something wrong with this friendship. And as it turns out, it's not great. There is also an aspect of a teacher at the school that gets involved with these girls. So trigger warning there. And it was giving me shades of The Girls, so like the Manson-esque kind of scenario. And I thought we were going to go further there, but we didn't. So I think while the end was okay, I loved the lead up to it, I would have written the ending differently, and I would have added more of those elements in, because I felt like we were building up to those elements and then they didn't go anywhere. So all in all, I enjoyed it. It was compulsively readable. It is also really easy to read. You have really short chapters and like bits in between for like news articles and things. I'll see if I can find a bit. So it is really easy, really compulsive to read. I did enjoy it, but I would say this is a Hawaiian pizza. So this is a solid 3.5 star thriller read. But I wish there'd been different choices made at the ending. But I would still recommend reading this, because I found it really compulsive. And maybe you'd feel different about the end, but it was just the end that kind of let me down. So now I'm going to carry on with The Crimson Moth. So I have been reading The Crimson Moth, and spoiler alert, yes, it's fantastic. Everybody was absolutely right. This is fantasy, romantasy, and in our world we have witches. Used to have witch queens, and they used to rule this world, and witches were very much regarded. And then there was like a rebellion, and now you have the Blood Guard and the current rulers who have basically decreed all witches evil. They hunt down anybody who is a witch and they kill them. And our main character, she is the Crimson Moth. So essentially her face to like high society is that she actually gave up her grandmother. So Rune, our main character, gave up her grandmother as a witch. So she's kind of seen as this kind of hero of the state and against witches, but actually in the background, she's working against the state to try and rescue as many witches as she can. And her sort of nemesis is Gideon, who is kind of the witch finder general. And the two of them, this is like an enemies to lovers fake dating scenario where both of them, she's trying to get close to Gideon to get some intel on what he's doing with these witches and where he's taking them in order to help rescue them. And he's getting close to her because he suspects her of being the Crimson Moth. So he's trying to work out whether or not she is or she isn't. But we're at the stage where it feels like they're actually having real feelings for each other, and that it's very much a game of cat and mouse, which I'm really, really enjoying. I'm really enjoying this. This is great. We'll see. Like I said, I've been a little bit bitten by that book because up until sort of the ending, I was like, oh, this is like 5 stars. This is amazing. So with this one, I'm over there, so I need to finish the second half of the book, and I'll come back and let you know what I think of it then. Okay, quick update. The weather is literally just disgusting out there, so I am going to read all day. I got myself a dirty chai latte, which is heavenly, and carrot and candied hazelnut cake, like hello. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna eat and then I'm gonna read. So I finished All the Little Liars. I am still really enjoying The Crimson Moth, and I'm also going to start Dead Girls Club. So that is going to be my next one I'm reading. I've decided. I think I might DNF The Beauty of Murder. So again, I was looking at this one and The Beauty of Murder, and I don't know about the writing style. Oh, I'll update you at the end, but I think this is going to be the next kind of more thriller-ish one. So I'll let you know how this one goes. Okay, this is absolutely nothing to do with reading, but I made myself a dress. It's summer dress weather, right? You know? So yeah, I've been sewing this. I've also finished The Crimson Moth. I really enjoyed this. This was so much fun. I loved the magic. I loved that the magic was like centered around blood. I thought that was really cool. I love the relationship in this. Gideon, the witch hunter. Oh my gosh. What I will say is at the end, some of the choices they make, I was like, no! But this is, I love this kind of real enemies to lovers sort of world. I love the writing style. I love the immersiveness of it. I really, really, really like this. I understand why so many people love the series, and it does end on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I think I'm going to get the second book and read Rebel Witch. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Moving on to Where the Dark Stands Still for fantasy, and I've started the Dead Girls Club on the more kind of thriller side of it. So I'll update you on those ones once I'm done. Okay, Okay, so I've come outside because actually the sun is shining even though the wind is blowing, and it's beautiful to just sit out here and do some reading. It's bank holiday Monday in the UK. I don't have to work. It's wonderful. So I am reading Where the Dark Stands Still, and I am like that far into the book. So 290, page 290. This is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. This is dark fairy tale at its best. You've got this girl Liska who leaves her village because she has magic, and like the priests in her village are like, magic is bad, it's evil, you know, it's of the devil, all of this stuff. And she goes out into these woods where she goes specifically to seek out this like guardian of the woods, but he's like a demon. And it's really cool, like when she first sees him, he's a deer, and then he turns into like a man but with like a deer skull, antlers, and she makes a bargain with him, and she says she wants to get rid of her magic, and he's like, okay, that's weird, but all right, fine. For a year you've got to come and stay at my kind of incredibly sentient, incredibly gothic, incredibly incredible mansion in these woods. And basically at first she thinks she's just going to be like his maid, like cook and clean for him, but she kind of starts to be his apprentice as well. And oh my god, the imagery, the way all of this is described, the author, this is actually based on Polish mythology, and it's so beautifully done. The descriptions, I can see this, it's like cinematic in my brain. I love this, okay? Again, I've heard quite a few people say how much they love it. I can't believe I've waited this long to read it because it's just exquisite. It's right up my alley. It's dark, it's creepy, it's macabre in certain places, but it's like the perfect dark fairy tale. Like I can see like Tim Burton making a film out of this book. It's so beautiful. And A.B. Poranek has a new book coming out, Treachery of Swans. I think it's like either end of the month, beginning of next month, and I'm definitely going to read that because that one's based on what's the ballet? The Swan Lake Ballet, and this one is kind of, it gives me sort of shades of Beauty and the Beast, but like I said, there's a lot of Polish mythology in here, and it's absolutely stunning. And I'm just going to read the end of it, but oh my goodness, if the end of it is as good as the first 290 pages have been, it's incredible. And then I also finished this book, so I finished Dead Girls Club, and this is by Damien Angelica Walters. This one is it has the past and present timeline, so it's very much like a crime thriller, but it's also kind of this coming of age, you know, feminine rage, sort of girls trying to take back their power. And it's about these 4 friends, and they form this Dead Girls Club when they're like in school, like 13, 14 at this point. And because 2 of them are really obsessed with like serial killers and talking about that. And then one of the girls, Becca, she starts talking about this myth of the Red Lady and how the Red Lady will come and get you and seek justice and all of that. And she's trying to get the other 3 to really believe that this Red Lady is real. And they're kind of meeting in this house that's empty that one of the mothers is selling because she's an estate agent. And they talk about this Red Lady, and it's a bit like, you know, like in The Crucible when they talk about how the girls kind of start to believe, you get that mass hysteria because you start to believe what's going on in your friend group. It's a little bit like that. And then you have the current timeline where one of the girls, and you find this out very early, so it's not really a spoiler, but she basically, she kind of says she's the one that killed Becca. However, Becca's mother is just about to come out of jail for having committed this crime. So you're like, whoa, what actually happened there? And like she's trying to figure out, and she's getting these like weird packages and weird phone calls and emails and stuff. So she's like, oh, somebody from the past knows what I did. And then she's deliberately trying to track down the other 2 girls that are still alive. And it kind of has this, so it's kind of like a little bit of a domestic drama, bit of a crime, lit fic, feminine rage, this whole thing. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Was I like on the edge of my seat going, oh my gosh, no, but just from that point of view, I'm kind of thinking about it. It's sort of mulling around in my brain. So I would recommend it. I think it's really good, particularly if you like those kind of female-centric, girl-centric stories and female friendship, like messed up female friendship stories. It's really, really, really good. And then the next one, I'm still 50-50 on whether I'm actually going to read The Beauty of Murder, but after I finish Where the Dark Stands Still, I'm going to read Whispers Most Foul by Emma MacDonald, and this is like a witch academy book, so I'm really looking forward to this. So hopefully I'm going to finish Where the Dark Stands Still now, and then move on to this, and then I'll update you. Okay, I've been a terrible vlogger because I finished the other books and I didn't actually check in while I was reading them. So we're going to wrap up now. We're going to talk about the books that I read of my 25 for 25. So I'm happy to say I can tick them all off now. 2 I liked, 2 I loved, and 2, well, they're kind of DNFs. 1 maybe not permanently. So let's talk about it. I told you about where we were talking about All the Little Liars. Really loved this. This was a great thriller. I just wasn't that keen on the end, so that's why it's not like, oh my god, I loved it, but it's at least a 3.5-star thriller. So good. It's recommended as a thriller. Dead Girls Club, again, this is that dual POV, what happened when they were kids, you know, what really happened, who did what, people kind of coming back from the woodwork from the past. So it had similar vibes to the first thriller that I read. And again, I enjoyed this. Would I say this is like top tier thriller? No. So again, and those of you that watched my mid-year report, so many thrillers that I read end up sort of in that mid-tier. I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I'm now struggling to remember the nuances of the plot. So for me, for a thriller that really has to like capture and make me want to really remember it, it doesn't happen all the time. But again, I'm glad I finally read this. I'm glad I can finally get this off my shelves after years of it sitting there. You know, it was a fun time, but nothing that I would be screaming about. Then I'll do the 2 I'm kind of DNFing, and then the 2 I love the most. So the 2 I'm kind of DNFing are these 2. So this is The Beauty of Murder. Now, the reason I'm DNFing it, and I'm not... yeah, I think I'm just gonna... it was the writing style. It was quite dense, quite clunky. I just couldn't get into it. And for me, I am one of those people, you've got to have me from hello. If I pick up a book and I read the first, second, third, fourth chapters, and I can't get into the book, whether it's the plot, it's the writing, if I start skimming in the beginning, you've lost me. And I tend to then just DNF because I'm like, no. Very rarely have I started a book and I was like, this is not so great, and then loved the ending. So with this one, I think this is going to be a hard DNF. It sounded intriguing and you may like it, but there was just something about the kind of writing style and the plot in the beginning that just did not capture me. And I've, again, got so many books to read that I want to get to that I don't want to waste my time. And then the other one, and I'm really sad to kind of say this, although this one, I've gotten to page 138 on this. This is Whispers Most Foul by Emma MacDonald. This is kind of like a Wednesday meets Harry Potter. So you've got this kind of school for witches and witchcraft. And you can see some of the, like, even some of the descriptions really reference, in my mind, Harry Potter and the Harry Potter films. And the atmosphere and the gothic vibes and the description, love it. The setup of this is that you've got, is it Rose, our main character? Yeah. She is actually the daughter of the principal of the school. And this is after summer break. So all the students are coming back to the school. I think she's in her 3rd year. And she's been seeing these images of this girl who's disappeared, and it looks like the girl may actually be dead. So she's seeing these like gruesome images. So again, that kind of reminded me a little bit of Wednesday, where she kind of sees, you know, the future, and she sees the past and she sees images. But she doesn't want to tell anybody that she's seeing them. She's also having real trouble at witch school because she can't conjure. So I'm enjoying that storyline. Then you've got these 3 other mysterious people, one of which was dating, that girl goes missing, then another girl goes missing, and one of them was sort of dating this missing girl, and there's some like school bullying going on. And it has great atmosphere, great vibes, but the storyline itself is not, I'm picking it up and sort of reading a chapter and then kind of putting it down and reading something else. So I am slightly intrigued as to exactly what is going on with these missing girls. And like I said, the atmosphere is really good. So I'm not going to get rid of this one for now. I'm just going to shelve it a little bit in favor of other books that I really want to read and really want to get to. Again, this is not bad. The writing's not bad. The vibes are great, but just something it's just not connecting with me at the moment. And then the two that I loved. I loved them. Okay, let's talk about it. So, Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. I think I was saying in my update, this is stunning. This is just the vibe of this. This is so dark fairy tale. This is if you love those kind of, those vibes of this girl kind of going into the forest and meeting this like devil-ish character, and the romance is divine. The ending had me in bits. I cried. This reminds me a little bit of Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. If you like Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone, I think you'll like this, and vice versa. So if you like this, because I think Lake's Edge is definitely the lesser known book, I would recommend Lake's Edge. Also Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn. But this is just beautiful. This is dark fairy tale vibes at its best, and I'm going to be doing a video kind of based around this with similar book recommendations because I absolutely love this. Yeah, and I cannot wait to read their new book coming out, Treachery of Swans. It's either this month or next month, because this was just so beautiful, and the writing is stunning, and the vibes were immaculate. It was like, the imagery was quite horrific at times, but beautiful horrific. So again, it reminded me of Alexis Henderson in a way, where it's beautiful but it's rotten at the same time, and it's just, I loved that book. And then I loved The Crimson Moth. Why has it taken me so long to read this? This is The Heartless Hunter in the States, but the first book in that duology, The Crimson Moth by Kirsten Cicerelli. I loved this. Again, the romance, this kind of cat and mouse game between two main characters, one of which is the Crimson Moth, and a witch, and she's trying to save other witches in this world from being burnt, well, slaughtered, literally, throat slit. And then her kind of love-hate relationship with Gideon, who is the witch hunter general, or he's the general of the army, and they're you know, they hunt the witches. And this ending as well, oh gosh, okay, it had me, it got me, it gave me all the feels. And I definitely want to read Rebel Witch, which is the conclusion to this duology. And it's quite nice because it's only a duology, so it's not like a 20-book commitment. This is a duology, and yeah, I understand why people love this, because yeah, I had a fantastic time reading it, even though I'm struggling with fantasy at the moment. This I loved, and Where the Dark Stands Still I absolutely loved, so I hugely recommend those if you want a witch book. And again, spoiler alert, I'm going to be doing a whole witch theme probably July or August. I'll tilt you down again, all of those books over there and some over here, witch books. And I need to read more witch books, so that's going to be in a video, but that's going to be a recommendation for it because I really enjoyed it. So that was my 25 for 2025, 6 books off that list. It's looking better now. We're halfway through. Again, I might revise some of the ones that are on there, but I'll let you know. But yeah, let me know if you read any of those books, what you've thought of them, and let me know how your reading is going. How is your mid-year going? If you did a 25 for 2025, how is that going? Are you doing better than me? Thank you all for being here. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.